I was almost debating filming this what I eat in a week because I felt like my meals were very repetitive and boring, but I also know that that is what always works for me when it comes to nutrition. I am a huge advocate of making sure that your health routine is very simple, approachable, and manageable. And for me, eating the same meals on repeat day after day, week after week makes healthy eating feel really sustainable. I thought I'd take you guys through a week of simple, high protein, high fiber meals that I eat on a regular basis. I've been working out first thing in the morning. I just find right now it works best for my schedule, but I do like to have a little pre-workout snack. If you guys watched my last video, I made these pumpkin oat breakfast cookies and then I headed out for a run. It was the first snowy run of the season. I definitely was not prepared for the snow in November. And then I came home and made my breakfast. I like to have the same breakfast every day. It just cuts down on decision fatigue. I know that it will keep me full until lunch. And I do try and get about 20 grams of protein or more at my breakfast and include some sort of seasonal fruit. Lately, I have been doing stewed apples. I just cook them with a little bit of cinnamon and I love that they're a great source of pectin. And then for my toast, I do like to do cottage cheese and avocado. This is a pressed cottage cheese that I use, so I just crumble that up, added some avocado, and then over the weekend I also meal prepped a bunch of jammy eggs. So I just cut some of those up and that was my breakfast. I also had some gluten-free sourdough bread from a local bakery here in Toronto. So I'm just going to keep referring back to my last video because that was a Sunday meal prep. And then I filmed this the week after, but I made this giant farro tofu salad, kind of winter salad. You can have it cold or warm, but I actually really liked it warm. It's got beets, squash, kale. It is so delicious. And we are definitely at the point of the year where I am just a little bit tired. We're not quite at December and at the holiday break, but the days are definitely quite a bit shorter. And I'm going to say that 2025 has been definitely a interesting year, if I could describe it at all. And I'm really just taking more time to rest in the winter and cutting down on the amount of time that I spend cooking every day is allowing me more time to rest and relax, which is what I feel like my body really needs right now. Work has also picked up and sometimes I just feel like I come home and I don't have the brain power to cook a full meal. So again, you guys can go back to the last video to see this recipe for this chicken and rice. I've made this I think 3 weeks in a row. It is just so delicious, so nourishing and warming. And then I just had some dates and peanut butter for dessert. And then on Tuesdays, I'm in the office in the morning, so I just made a breakfast and then my coffee before I headed out. I don't show my coffee every day, but I have at least one coffee in the morning. And then on this particular Tuesday, we actually had a work lunch. So we ended up going out for lunch. I just ended up getting some sushi. And then I just ended up having some more of the chicken and rice for dinner and dates and peanut butter for dessert. And then on Wednesday, I just had some more of the farro and tofu salad. I love doing meal preps like this where it has all the components of a meal that I want. You have tons of fiber between the farro and all the vegetables, tons of micronutrients and polyphenols with all the vegetables, especially the beetroot. You have lots of antioxidants from the olive oil as well. There's olive oil in the dressing, and then lots of protein from the tofu. And then for a snack in the afternoon, I just had more of the breakfast cookies. I've definitely been working out more in the winter. I do find it makes a really big difference for my mood, and just because I'm moving a lot less than I do in the summer, I do notice that I get hungry a little bit more, so I love to have some of those for a snack. Keep in mind, I also don't show all of my snacks or all the time that I go back for second helpings. And then I just had some more of the chicken and rice for dinner and dates and peanut butter for dessert. And then I always try and keep ground beef in my freezer, and I like to just freeze it in individual portions so that if I ever just need one portion of protein, it's really easy, and I just kind of flatten it out so it defrosts really quick. But I made one of my favorite lunches to make when I don't have a lot of time. I just took some corn tortillas, mashed down some ground beef, but you can really use any ground meat, and I had that with some smashed avocado just for some extra fiber. And then this week I accidentally brought arugula microgreens instead of broccoli microgreens at the grocery store, but they do the same job. They're also very bitter, so great for stimulating digestion and supporting bile flow. And then moving on to dinner, we make the same dinner every Thursday night. We just do Japanese sweet potatoes, and I cook them in cinnamon, avocado oil, and salt. I just roast them at about 375 to 400 just until they are soft. I just keep an eye on them. And then I also make some roasted broccoli. I always do my roasted broccoli the same way. I just defrost some frozen broccoli in the oven. And then once it's about halfway done cooking, I just add some garlic powder, avocado oil, and salt. And I do really try and get cruciferous vegetables at least a few times a week. The arugula microgreens count, the broccoli counts. The next day you'll see we have Brussels sprouts. Kale counts as a cruciferous vegetable. It's such a great natural source of sulforaphane. It's great for helping to support liver detoxification, which is so important for hormonal health. And then you guys know I also try and eat fatty fish a few times a week, again, just to help with getting enough omega-3s. And that was our dinner. I also had some tahini. I love adding tahini on top, and that was Thursday. So on Fridays, I have to leave pretty early, so I just made a very quick breakfast before heading out to the clinic, and then I came home, just had some leftovers for lunch. I also added some kimchi. And then for dinner, since I was home in the afternoon, I really wanted to try doing a slow-cooked roast. Now, I've seen a bunch of different versions where you can make this, but I wanted to try this one where you don't have to do any searing. You just season it with salt, pepper, throw it in the oven. It took less than 5 minutes to prep, and then I just cooked it low and slow for about 4 hours at 315. And then for sides, I decided to do Brussels sprouts and mashed potatoes. For my Brussels sprouts, I just started by parboiling them, and then I like to roast them in the oven. At this point, the roast had been in the oven for about 4 hours. I probably could have left it a little bit longer. It was still a little bit tough, but I ended up just shredding it and putting it back at around 400 degrees along with the Brussels sprouts. For the Brussels sprouts, I just parboiled them, drained them, and then seasoned them with salt, garlic powder, and olive oil, and just threw them in with the roast. And then for my mashed potatoes, I just use some sea salt, olive oil, and soy milk. This is great if you want a dairy-free alternative. Sometimes I also like to add in nutritional yeast. I just didn't have any. But my boyfriend did say that this dinner was really good. We'll definitely be adding it into the rotation. And it actually really wasn't that much effort. But that does bring us to the end of the video. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got some meal inspiration or ideas. This is just your reminder that you really don't have to overcomplicate your nutrition. Focusing on the foundations like protein, fiber, color, polyphenols is going going to be so helpful. As always, let me know what you guys want to see more of, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!